Donald Trump currently faces legal peril on multiple fronts, and the strategy he often uses to tackle these issues is not a secret. He makes his enemies the enemies of his followers. He attacks them in public. He tries to ruin their careers. Sometimes he even defames them. That is the Trump playbook, and it has been for years. But now that his legal troubles have piled up considerably, Trump is making his fight against his enemies more explicit. In new reporting today, Rolling Stone magazine details how Trump is trying to go after the FBI and the Justice Department agents who are currently investigating him. Quote, in recent months, the former president has asked close advisors, including at least one of his personal attorneys, if we know all the names of senior FBI agents and Justice Department personnel who have worked on the federal probes into him. Trump has then privately discussed that should he return to the White House, it is imperative his new Department of Justice quickly and immediately purge the FBI and DOJ's ranks of these officials and agents who've led the Trump-related criminal investigations. During some of the conversations this year, including at Trump's Florida club Mar-a-Lago, some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists. So the time-tested Trump playbook is operational here in a big way, but some things, at least, are different this time around, like this. The Justice Department is not making it easy for Trump. According to Rolling Stone, the DOJ appears to be stonewalling Trump's allies, who are asking for the names of those hired by the special counsel to investigate Trump. The department is also obscuring the names of the special counsel's lawyers and personnel on official emails, according to a source with direct knowledge of the situation. Joining us now is someone who knows exactly what it is like to be a personal target of Donald Trump, former FBI agent Peter Strzok. Not only was he removed from the special counsel's Russia investigation back in 2017, but he was later fired from the FBI after more than 20 years of service. Peter, it's great seeing you. Thanks for being my guest this evening. There's really no better person to speak with. Does this reporting feel like vindication for you in your search to find out exactly what happened here, get to the bottom of your firing? Is it proof that Trump has a kill list?
Well, Alex, I don't know that I'd call it vindication. It's certainly confirmation that what Trump did in the end of his last administration, he's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around. I mean, it's hard for me to overstate what an assault on the rule of law this is. It's essentially somebody who is running for president saying, if you dare investigate me, I'm going to fire you. And there is nobody out in America who should, this is something out of a banana republic. There is no person above the law, but clearly this is something that Trump is saying, trying to proactively identify people who are working on investigations related to him and saying years out from his presidency, I'm going to fire these people as soon as I can, if and when I regain power. So it is absolutely something we saw him doing, as you indicated, you know, me, folks like Director Comey, Deputy Director Andy McCabe, other folks who were fired very much saw this in action. And Trump has doubled down, saying, yes, I've done it, like he frequently does. He goes up to the line. When he sees no resistance at that line, he just pushes forward. So I'm deeply worried about what happens in a future Trump administration to all these folks who are working day and night with Special Counsel Jack Smith and others to try and hold Trump to account for his potentially illegal acts.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably not just about a second Trump term, too. It could just be marching orders for the current Republicans who are running committees in Congress. We know that effectively doing Trump's bidding are Jim Jordan, who is chair of the House Judiciary Committee, is trying to get Alvin Bragg up to the Hill. We know that the House Oversight Committee chair has decided to hold the FBI director, Trump's FBI director, Christopher Wray, in contempt of Congress. I mean, there are very real consequences for Trump targeting these folks in real time right now. And I would ask you, to be an investigator in the FBI or the DOJ, what is it like working under that pressure in that spotlight?
Well, that's absolutely right. I mean, look, when I was working with Special Counsel Mueller, we were all very well aware of the statements that were coming out of Trump's mouth, the statements that are coming out of Congress. Did that make anybody afraid to do their job? No. Were investigators and attorneys certainly aware of it? Yes. And Alex, you're absolutely right. This is not just a future potential harm. Not only is Trump threatening these people with their jobs and their livelihood, but more, you know, if you look at what is going on right now, the fact of the matter is threats, physical threats of violence that are coming into FBI agents, including the names of individuals who took part in the search warrant down at Mar-a-Lago, attacks on FBI facilities, including a field office in the Midwest. This isn't just a future threat of your job. This is a current threat of violence simply based on Trump and those around him trying to identify people, trying to intimidate them and prevent them from doing their job.